All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello. My name is Darius Anucauskas, and I'm the Chief Market Analyst here at Markets.com. And today is a Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. Wednesday, the 15th of October, 2025. Still, look, I wanted to quickly do a forex update. I did one last week, so I thought, hey, let's do one by just a little bit earlier, Anyway, because there are some shifts in the market, we were seeing some currencies moving, maybe not that much because we're missing some U.S. economic data, but hey, still there are some interesting developments happening there. Look, before we go any further, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So yes, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest. I'm not going to disappear anywhere. So yeah. Basically, like I said, yeah, there are, like I said, some interesting moments here, and unfortunately, we're not really getting the so-called the much needed US CPIs. I'm already not talking about the NFP. We're already kind of past that. Initial and continuous jobless claims also, yep, not coming out. So look, there are issues, and I think that if the CPIs do not come out by next week, I think it would be a little bit difficult for the Fed to kind of make their decisions. However, that's what they say. But I think that that's already kind of pre-established already. The rate cut has been ordered already, so I think that that's going to happen either way. Anyway, because again, the focus right now is falling on the labor market rather than the inflation. So at least it seems that this is what the Fed is kind of focusing on. Anyway, look. Also, just a quick mentioning of our Markets.com website, which you can always check out for more information about us. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist. And also, I'm running a little webinar, which is going to be on the 30th of October. So you'll find the link in the description of this video. Basically, it's on Bollinger Bands, and we will apply those in real life market action. So this is the third episode from the series where I'm doing the top most used indicators. Like first one was the MACD, the second one was the RSI, and now I'm gonna pick up on the Bollinger Bands, and basically we'll try to enter together a few trades. On the demo, of course, we need to kind of be careful. First, we need to test the grounds, and then we can do something about it. But yeah, join me. I hope you'll find it useful. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to skip the economic calendar and I'm going to jump into one of the pairs that you probably don't look at very often, but it is hitting the news, or should I say it was hitting the news, but we can still feel the effects. Now, this is the US dollar against the Argentinian peso. If you haven't followed this pair, let me just jump into a monthly chart here, and you will see the craziness that the people of Argentina were experiencing. Because look at this. This is just insane. Since Since 2022. When it started picking up the hyperbolic pace here, I mean, this is just to the moon, right? I mean, recently it's stabilized. And well, we understand why. Because the U.S. injected around 20 billion into the Argentina's economy. Some people say injection, some people say support, some people say bailout. Again, we can call it whatever we want, but we certainly see the effects. Now, the question is, will that money be enough to stabilize the Argentinian peso? Well, to be honest, we'll see. Time will tell. Certainly, they're trying to do something about their currency, but are we on a path of default? I think kind of yes, but again, who am I to say? Maybe it will just continue. They will continue adjusting. Or maybe they will release a new currency, like an alternative to this one. So again, it's like a lot of things here to consider. But anyway, one of the interesting moments that are happening here, certainly from the short seller's perspective, you would be craving to short this one. However, the question is that there's no clear support, and because it's just one-way traffic. So that's why I would say just be careful for those who are looking for opportunities somewhere, and you stumbled upon USD ARS, which US dollar against this Argentinian peso. Be careful with this. And I know that this could be tempting. However, it's a little bit of a gamble here. So okay, if you're willing to take that risk, but just never put all your eggs into one basket, because this might actually backfire. And unless we start maybe dropping below this little territory somewhere here. This was a good area of support, so this is 1,307, and if we do fall below that, I'm going to lean a little bit more towards the downside. But again, it's the Argentinian peso we're talking about, so it could reverse sharply anytime. But anyway, let's go through the other more popular currency pairs, and AUDUSD. Looking at this one, I talked about this in my morning video in my Markets Talk webinar this morning. And basically what I said that, look, this worked out nicely. On Monday I was saying that keep your eyes on this 0.65, and actually last week I was saying that keep your eyes on this 0.6520 zone, and if we can get a nice break below that, we could go lower. And yeah, we did get that breakout. We moved lower on Friday. We sold off because of the power of the post, because one individual can dictate the market easily through his social media, and well, that's what we got. So far, look, I would say this way: if you're looking for some higher levels on this one, I would say just wait at least for a break of this downside line, which is taken from the high of the 17th of September. For the downside, very clearly, a drop below this upside line is needed. But the thing is that right now it's a tricky moment, because look, DXY, the dollar index, it did drift lower, but overall, I'm bearish on DXY, on the US dollar. However, in the very, very near term, I think that there is a chance for this one to recover maybe towards the 100 level. Let's see. Again, this is just an idea. We understand that the interest rate cuts are coming up, and we understand that that's going to happen in the end of October, on the 29th of October. We will get that 25 basis point cut, despite the absence of inflation data, as they say. No, I think it's a given already, and we're going to go with that, because the labor market is not really feeling very well. Because look at the ADPs, look at the JOLTs, or actually look at ADPs more, because those are, yeah. Anyway, and that's why maybe the NFP is not coming out, because that one will show probably a disaster as well. And, the government shutdown kind of conveniently comes in order not to show the NFP, because probably that could have, forced the market to go lower, and we still need the market to go higher. Anyway, long story short, for now, like I said, the US dollar is picking up pace a little bit. I'm not saying that I'm going to be, like I said, very, very bullish on this one, unless something changes. But for now, I'm aiming still for the upside, but very, very carefully. If we do drop below the crossroads of these two trend lines, then yes, this is a daily chart, by the way. If we do drop below the crossroads of these two trend lines, I'm gonna consider a move lower. So jumping into AUD JPY, our risk on, risk off monitor, you can see that we did correct lower on Friday. Well, just because the stock market collapsed on Friday. Yes, we're still not feeling the love, or too much buying love here. We're still below that 99.17 zone I talked about. It is actually playing out as a good area of resistance. That's marking the highest point of January of 2025. Basically, before this move in the beginning of October, this was the highest point of this year. So yep, right now we are slowly holding below it, So let's see if this is going to continue to hold. This could, of course, create this bearish indication. That said, for me to get bearish on this one, I would prefer to wait for a break of this upside line, which is a little bit on the tentative side, don't get me wrong, because I'm drawing it from here in order to capture the three touches. So maybe somebody could say, this is subjective, but to be honest, almost everything is subjective, you know, in technical analysis. So yeah, almost, of course. But anyway, look, for now, long story short, I'm keeping an eye on this upside line. I want to see what's going to happen here. If we do break it, then yeah, I'm going to lean a little bit more towards the downside. Euro USD very quickly, pushing higher, but still, we're classing this as a little temporary correction before another possible leg of selling. However, my preference is still to wait for a drop below the 100-day EMA. If we can get that move below that 100-day EMA, great. I'm going to lean a little bit more towards the downside, especially if we clear these lows of this of last week, this week, near the 1.1542. If that gets cleared, amazing. More sellers here could join in, so keep that in mind. For the upside, I need to see a break of the downside line and a push above the 1.1645 in order to go for some higher areas. Euro JPY, one of my other favorite ones, and this one is holding still above this 175.42. Now, if you're wondering what that level is, I'll show you. That level is the highest point of 2024. So we're still balancing above that 175.43. But what's interesting is that I've marked last time when we were talking about this, when we were still, you know, below this hurdle, I said that if we do pop above it, my next target is the 177.91. That level, now this is even a more interesting level, that's the highest point of 1991. These are the levels that we're hitting right now. So we're hitting these, you know, levels that we saw like more than 30 years ago. Yeah, look, if we do clear the 177.91, then certainly that's opening the door to some higher areas. But I'm not in a rush because, look, if we somehow at the end of this month we end up drifting back below the 175.43 and we see the body of the monthly candle remaining below that area, actually, that to me could signal a little bit of a worrying sign, because maybe we could form a possible double top here. So with the neckline being somewhere around this mark here, around the 155. Now, I'm not saying that you would have to wait until, you know, we reach this one in order to short this one. No, but certainly just keep an eye on this one, because like I said, it also could confirm one of my theories that when we see a move where we clear the, let's say, the all-time high, let's say the highest level, we clear that one, but we struggle at the end of the, let's say, candle life, we struggle to stay above it with the body of the, we fail to close above this. So in this case, this is the highest point of 2024. If we struggle to close above above the highest point of 2024, then this could be a little bit of a signal that, you know, not everything is very bullish. So yeah, let's go back into the daily chart and let's jump into Euro NZD, another interesting pair which I'm very much carefully monitoring. And look at this, we are struggling with this 2.03 territory. I talked about 2.0310. I talked about this in my morning webinars, and basically, yeah, there we go. We are flirting with this area, so we need a clearance, a good clearance of that area. If we can get that, great. I'm going to go for some higher levels. Let's jump into GBP USD, ladies and gentlemen. GBP USD, we're seeing a little bit of a retracement, but similar story as with Euro USD. We're seeing a retracement, yes. However, the downside line is still not broken. We're not above it. So I need also a push above the 1.34 zone right here in order to get comfortable with higher levels. But if I'm not going to get that, I'm still going to stick to the downside trend. And another thing here, look, this is just an idea, but maybe, just maybe, this could work out. We could be in a falling wedge pattern. And if it is the case, then yes, the breakout here could happen to the upside. However, if the upper side remains intact, the trend is still to the downside. We could still move lower here within the formation, and then we could wait for our moment of truth, where, you know, if we get that breakout through the upper side of this formation, then yes, great, more buyers could join in. So keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, it's an interesting moment happening here. Am I getting very bullish? No, I'm going to get bullish if we do get push at least above the 1.34 zone right there. GBP JPY, Similar story like with the Euro JPY, but this one is still holding above this 201.26. So if we do drop below that, I'm going to lean a little bit more towards the downside. USD CAD, very interesting developments here as well. We remain above the 1.4016, and if we do stay above that area, then I'm going to continue targeting the upside. USD JPY, now this one's interesting, and again, this is right now a very interesting battle. Like I said, if suddenly the markets turn south, again, the question is like, is the dollar going to regain its safe haven status, or actually is it just going to keep it for the Japanese yen? And this is where, like I said, and this is what right now is worrying the Bank of Japan, because look, the Bank of Japan wants to strengthen the Japanese yen, and it was planning to do the interest rate hike at the end of October. However, I've just recently checked, and basically no longer they're planning to do that one. It's no longer expected to, it's no longer expected for that rate hike, which is a little bit of a different story that it was, at the end of September. Yeah, maybe we can attribute that to the election of a new, leader in Japan, and Sanae Takaichi, and she is a little bit in favor of cuts. So, the Bank of Japan before the election is planning to do a hike. She's in favor of a cut. So, hey, let's meet in the middle, right? Let's not do anything and keep the rate unchanged at plus 0.5. So, okay, maybe they're gambling on the fact that maybe the stock market could reverse lower, and the Japanese yen could strengthen. However, this is the game where you're playing. Do you want to have a very strong Japanese yen, because then your exports become less attractive, or or you're more thinking about your own consumer. So at the moment, I think that they need to focus more on the export side, to be attractive on the global arena. Yes, it's always at an expense of the consumer, of your own domestic, electorate. But hey, unfortunately, that's how it goes, and nobody cares about the little person. Everybody cares about the big whales. So anyway, long story short, for now, I think that we're going to keep an eye on the market and what's going to happen there. But certainly, the U.S. dollar does pick up a little bit buying interest, and we could see a reversal back up here on USD JPY. USD CHF, an interesting development here. Look. I said that I'm still somewhat positive on this one, and I am aiming for the upside. And look at this, we went lower today. We tested this little short-term tentative upside support line taken from the low to the 17th of September, and it probably needs to be drawn this way a little bit here. There we go. We tested it, we rebounded from it, and now there is a chance for this one to actually travel back up. Let's see if that's going to be the case. I'm not in a rush here, but am I targeting very much high levels? No. I will be targeting somewhere the area initially around the 0.8076, around this 100-day EMA shown as the blue line, or if we surpass that, I'm going to go for that 0.8171, and then we'll just take it from there. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that was just a quick little update, quick little forex update on all the pairs. So I hope you found it useful. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you agree or not? And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe. That would really help me out. But even before that, always remember that stay safe, have your stop losses in place, risk only what you can afford to lose, don't overtrade, and everything will be fine. I'll see you next time in my next little video update. Bye for now.